Seth.
Dang it. I'm gonna agree with Caleb. I do way too much just sitting back and watching you morons do stuff. So
Moron.
Then I turn the mic off, and then it's my turn to talk, and I'm like, oh.
Who's ready to make some Lanierland Tournament picks and make everybody mad?
I am for the first time ever.
Woo! Raise your hands, folks. Look. We got Santa Claus with us. It's Christmas time, and we got brackets.
All I know is I got 7 teams that are going to hate me. That's all I know. One that will maybe like me.
Do you know the only human being that accurately picked the championship game last year on one side or the other?
Who?
Who was that?
Coach Chad Pittman, who's right there on your screen, folks.
Look at that.
He got the boys right.
Well, that's because he withheld information last year.
Got the boys right. He sure did.
Okay, what is happening
now-
here?
Coach, congratulations on
Seth,
that.
You need the both of them. I don't know what you're doing.
Seth is now in the camera. He's not
Hey, if you
supposed
want
to
That
to
be
seems
in
like
front
something
of.
you should have done before the show.
If you want to
Yeah,
stand
well,
in front
usually we put stuff like that on the Google Drive, and it's not on the drive, so I had to physically come get a picture
Wait,
of
the
it.
brackets are on the Google
It
Drive.
is actually on the Google Drive.
Where?
Under shared.
I found it.
Yeah.
Who shared them?
That's how I printed it off up here in beautiful Newport News, Virginia.
I don't even need brackets. I'm just
Oh,
here
yeah.
making
We've
picks.
watched you peek over at Jeff's bracket all day.
Yeah, if you win, I want full credit.
My picks do not match up with you.
And
I already
if you-
know his
Coach,
picks, and they do not match up with
if
Coach,
you
I don't know
lose,
if you
it's all your
watched the
fault.
football pick'em, but Caleb constantly cheated off of Jeff all year.
And I won, and he still
Lord.
was terrible.
We have not even done that.
I dispute that
final
claim.
Yeah, why
standings.
haven't we done the finals?
Because you won, and I
Oh,
didn't care
it's-
about doing it.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Drained all of his joy for the show.
I'm just glad none of you are getting paid by the pick.
Yeah, you know that.
Hey, I wish I was. I was like 750%. I'll take it.
What?
I think so.
You can't be 750%.
Well, 75%. my
Get
bad.
your engineering calculator out now.
See, that's why I use it to help
Yeah.
me with that.
Walker,
stuff.
you don't understand. 750% is a real number. You just need to be well versed in the engineering
That's
calculator
correct.
to
Yes.
understand.
It is a real number.
Okay.
I meant 75%. There you
Coach,
go.
did that make sense to you, or was that just me?
I'm just waiting on Lanierland at this point.
Well, you don't have to wait long, Coach.
No.
Yeah.
here.
I mean, that's why we're here.
All right, guys. We know basketball season's been happening for a little while now, and I know that Coach Pittman is a guy that loves to roam in and out of gyms during basketball season since he is a retired head basketball
I've already
coach.
bumped into him at a gym this year.
I've been to 3 games. I've seen him every time.
So, Coach, what's your give us the state of Hall County basketball?
If I summed it up in one word, competitive.
Okay.
I would
Seen
agree
some
with
pretty
that.
good games. A blast of a game last week. The Bluff and East Hall, crazy finish.
Absolutely
Wow.
crazy
Great
finish.
game. That
About
was
a
a great-
28-foot three-point shot at the buzzer. They go into overtime. It's back and forth.
Go check out those highlights. They're
Final
pretty
was
great.
a 2-point game. North Hall Chestatee, of course, that's always a fun one. Both girls and boys. That was a great night. Got to see one of the crossovers, North Oconee. Their boys really, really good again. So yeah, me and my son, we, as you said, when you're old and retired like me, you just travel around and get to watch. So I don't know who's been to more games, me or Coach Vining, but we usually
Ooh.
bump into each other. So,
Do you get to use your teacher pass to get in for free, or do you have to pay for all these games?
well, as I said earlier, when you're old, see, I have a lifetime pass.
He's
at
a
this
lifetimer.
point. So,
Yes.
works out real good. And, the money we save goes for, my son is a growing boy. So that helps. That
Concession
he's
stand.
So-
That's what I'm hearing.
Wait, you don't get a
Sorry.
lifetime pass to the concession stand too? That's what I'd be vying for.
No, that's either Mickey D's, Zaxby's, or Chick-fil-A, God's Chicken, something on the way home. So there you go.
And 9 times out of 10, it's God's chicken, right?
Most of the time.
Okay, so Lanir Land, which begins on Wednesday, is at West Hall. That's December 27th. That's day 1. That's the big day. Day 2 is at Lakeview, which is December 28th. And day 3 is over at Johnson, which is December 29th. And I don't know, guys. What are you looking most forward to this tournament? Because I see a lot of competitive games. You know, you look on the boys' side, you've got that Gainesville East Hall game. Woo. That's the nightcap of the tournament. The girls' side, you've got just a bomb to open the tournament, Lakeview and Cherokee Bluff. But let's just do roundtable here. What are you guys expecting out of this Lanierland tournament?
Well, I think the girls' tournament, I think, is going to be extremely competitive up and down. I mean, just looking at that bracket right there, I expect Gainesville, not to get into picks already, but Gainesville-Johnson, I expect Gainesville to handle that one pretty well. But you look at the rest of those games, I mean, Chestatee should beat Flowery Branch.
He's already making his picks.
Although that series has had some upsets in it before on the girls' side.
Yes.
And North Hall, East Hall, and Cherokee Bluff, Lakeview, I think are going to be very competitive games.
Look, I saw North Hall, East Hall earlier this year, and the North Hall girls led the entire half against North Hall, and then North Hall came on in the second half to kind of win that game, somewhat comfortably, but very competitive. East Hall is very young; they're still growing. They have some talent. That's a sleeper game right there because East Hall showed that they can have some success early in that game, and you never know in a tournament atmosphere what's going to happen.
Guys, I got a question. I've not seen – has anybody seen Gainesville this year? Has anybody in this room seen Gainesville?
I have not.
Oh, that's
Coach, have you seen Gainesville?
I have not seen Gainesville.
Walker, have you seen
one high
Gainesville?
School basketball game, though?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you think the guy who lives in Virginia hasn't seen Gainesville play?
What do you mean, Walker?
Caleb, that's the joke.
Yeah.
You want to know what I'm looking forward to, guys? I'm looking forward to a little bit of chaos. I mean, you look.
There
the
could be
seedings
some.
are from last year. I get that, but I filled out my bracket this morning. I've thought about it for a week now since we were starting to talk about this and getting ready for the tournament and getting ready to call games when we get to that point. But starting to look at the bracket, throw the seedings out the window as you always can, but especially this year because I could foresee an 8 seed making the championship game on the boys' side. I could see a 5 versus 3 on one side or the other. There are a lot of different scenarios that I could see that you can just throw the seedings out the window, but it makes for a little bit of fun of chaos.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I saw what he did there.
You suddenly picked East Hall boys, and you suddenly picked Lakeview girls and Chestatee girls.
Yeah,
I see how
but
you
I
rolled
also
there.
think, but I'm also looking at the fact that I could see, honestly, Flowery Branch and Cherokee Bluffs boys playing for the championship. There's a lot of different scenarios that I could honestly see making these games so tough to predict. Goes back to Coach Pittman's word, competitive. I don't know that there are very many blowouts on any of these games, either side of the bracket, any of the 3 days.
Well, I would agree with that. Just to get to your point, Walker, I made my picks on the boy. There were 6 games that we had to pick on the boys' side. I scratched out 3 of them and changed my mind.
I've done the same thing.
I think it's very, very tough. I mean, you mentioned, has anybody seen Gainesville? You look at the boys, I think they're 0-9, 0-10.
Yep.
Yeah, the last time this happened, they came in and absolutely steamrolled the field.
That was last year.
No, it's a couple years
2
ago.
years ago. 2 years ago,
yeah,
sorry.
And
2 years
steamrolled
ago.
the field. Look, if you look at the Gainesville boys' schedule, that's got to be the toughest basketball schedule I've seen in years. Every team they played has a winning record. Yeah. But there are a couple interesting things about their schedule. They lost to Walnut Grove by 16 and trailed by 30, and East Hall lost to Walnut Grove on a tip-in at the buzzer. And as you said,
don't forget about Chestatee lost to him by 4.
Yeah, the boys almost is up for grabs because I could see 5 teams, legitimately 5 teams.
I think you have to go back
winning that.
I think you have to go back to the 2019 tournament. I believe that's when Gainesville, coach, I'm not sure if you remember, rolled in like 0-10 to that tournament. I think it was pre-COVID because maybe that was Chuck's first year, former head coach at Gainesville. But yeah, Gainesville coming in 0-9. You do look at those records on the schedule. Did you look any further to see the teams that beat them, who they beat? Because you can look at some of these regions and you can see like Region 8, 7A. You look at Buford's region. I know I'm throwing Buford in here, but what is that competition that those teams have played that Gainesville has lost to? So I mean, I don't think you can really in my opinion, throw out Gainesville's 0-9. They played a really tough schedule. I mean, they're under a new head coach in Charlemagne Gibbons.
New system,
new everything. They
roster
coach
turnover.
and coach can talk to this. I mean, they lost most of their roster. They have one guy returning in Ellis Pitts, and they start a lot of youth. Coach, you know how that is. You know how it goes when you have to kind of rebuild or reload a program.
Yeah, it's kind of like riding a roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
highs and lows. I can remember graduating big classes and the next year struggling, especially early on. So there is something to be said about that. But how many times has Gainesville now won it in a row, the boys?
They won the last 6 of 7.
They won last year.
Okay,
East Hall
so-
won the year before that, but it's like Bo said, 5 or 6 of the last 7.
So if you look at their record coming in, I think everybody in Hall County is frustrated because I'm not sure they've had a winning record coming into Lanierland in that 6 out of 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right on that.
I don't think you can count them out. I do think they did graduate. The last combination of the last 2 years has really made it tough this time because, they had a great group before, then they had another great group last year. Sooner or later, that does catch up with you typically. But as far as just the overview of Lanierland, it seems to me as watching these teams every year, basketball trends more and more towards guard play and who can shoot the 3 the best. Then you throw in the new adjustment with the shot clock the last couple of years and so forth. So it's more of a fast-paced game. It's more of a guard who can shoot it. So in my opinion, to everybody's point, if you have a bad night shooting or a bad stretch for that matter of shooting, it's hard to overcome that.
Yep.
So, I think already the mystique of the gold ball and Lanierland brings on some interesting matchups, some interesting, drama, if you will. But then if you're not shooting it well, you get beat. I think we've all got our brackets filled out, but who knows? By the end of day 2, everybody we put on the winner's side may be on the loser's side.
Yeah, and throw in the fact that you're playing in front of probably the largest crowd you're going to play in front of all year long, most likely.
Absolutely.
And it'll be the loudest crowd
loudest.
for sure in the 3 gyms that we're going to be playing in this week.
Well, I'm just hoping that the fire marshal is enjoying Christmas vacation because all 3 locations this year, they'll be hanging from the rafters to get in.
Well, here's what I hope. I hope they fire the energy ghost and the air conditioner is already turned on in all 3 locations, like a week and a half in advance.
Yeah, have ice on the bleachers when we get there.
Yeah.
Wednesday
I
morning.
wouldn't count on it, Bo.
I know. And can't open a door, but
They need to set up.
need
They need,
something.
those cheap cooling stations they used to put in theme parks where they just sprayed water
Oh,
on
yeah,
you. They need to have those set up in the hallway outside the gym so people can go cool down a little bit.
If
I'm
any
not
of
sure
them have
I'm not
sprinkler
sure that's
systems,
in
we
the
can make that
budget.
happen.
yeah, I don't think that's in the budget either. And, if it gets hot enough in there, the floor will feel like you sprinkled it with water.
That's true. That's true.
All right, guys, let's get to the picks. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Hit the rundown music, Seth.
Hit the rundown music, Seth.
Man.
Come on, producer.
Look how organized he is.
Come on, EP. Oh.
There.
There it is.
Now we can get to it.
How can you not remember that?
He did. All right,
Did he?
guys. Here we go, Seth. Jeff.
I'm looking
Caleb,
at you, that's right.
Walker, Coach. Let's start only picking
didn't say my
the
name
winners. Walker Tucker.
Thank you.
We're only picking
We
winners.
can pretty much just
bracket.
replace his name with any word that starts
Yes,
with
we
W
can.
at this point.
All right, we're starting.
Walker,
at
have
the-
you kept up with how many different names I've called you?
Yes.
Yes.
How many? What's
You're
the
up to
number?
like 19 now.
Hey,
this
that's
year.
pretty good.
That's not bad.
Okay, we're going to get 20 today.
Hey, can I take a vote of the people here on this show? I vote that we pick the Gainesville East Hall boys game last. Anybody else in favor of that?
Well, we're doing
Yeah, we're going to pick them in order.
We're going to pick them in
No.
time. The tip-off time.
Oh,
There
okay,
you go.
nice.
Going back and
Okay,
forth
wait a
between
second.
girls
That means
and
we're
boys
picking the
bracket.
hardest.
No,
No,
that's
we're
too
doing the
confusing.
girls, and then we're doing the boys.
That's
All
right.
right, so here we
That'll-
go.
So we're going to start off with the hardest.
So we're going straight down, huh?
Can you turn everybody's mic off so I can get the picks rolling?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Let's start with the 9 a.m. game, which, like I said earlier, is probably the I don't know. This is going to be a just insane or Lakeview Academy, who comes in as we record this show at 7-0, and Cherokee Bluff at 7-1. It's a 5 versus 4 matchup, and this is kind of like the Gainesville Flowery Branch boys last year in the first round game. I mean, this is huge. I don't know who wants to go first here.
I was about to say, what's the order?
Do we have an order?
I didn't do a random pick order. So, Walker, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I don't care. I think that this game really boils down to who wakes up earliest. And for Lakeview, they're playing for a chance to play in the girls' nightcap at home the next day. I take the Lions to win a close one.
Okay. I'll go next. I haven't seen Lakeview, but I've seen Cherokee Bluff. They have last year's tremendous freshman, and now they have another tremendous freshman this year. And you talk about guard play in this game. Oh, my goodness. I mean, it's going to be a tremendous matchup. I tell you, I really like that Lakeview team, but there's something about this Bluff team. I've seen them twice now. Really, really good, and I don't even think we've come anywhere close to how good they can be. I'm going to take Bluff, but I double overtime.
Yeah, I'm
No,
gonna,
don't say that word for the first game of the day.
Yeah, you're just way off schedule. All right, I'll go next.
If it happens, Jeff, I'm kicking you out of West Hall High School.
Bo's going to be in Oakwood at 10 o'clock Wednesday night.
Yeah. Have it that. All right, here we go.
I will be too. I'm not leaving for that last game of the night.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. All right, Lakeview and Cherokee Bluff. I'm going to go next. So, gosh, man, both these teams are playing really well right now. But I got to stick with the Lady Bears in this one. So I'm going to go with the Bears to get a close win over Lakeview.
Coach Pittman.
Well, I haven't seen Lakeview. I've heard really good things. They had the transfer from Habersham, who, again, is another additional guard. Help me, somebody. The Dynasty. Is that her name?
Dynasty Putman.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really been outstanding in Lanierland every year and does a great job. But then getting to see the Bluff last week, wow. The Kirsch kid, the freshman, man, really, really good, played with confidence, sees the floor well. She's a great distributor, which then makes the Carlson girl that much better from last year, as you mentioned, Jeff. So I tell you, I think it's going to be a really good game. It could be the championship game ultimately for the tournament on the girls' side. Because we have transitioned to more of a guard-centered game, I'm going to go with the Bluff to win. But I tell you, if the big girl at Lakeview gets involved, she was a transfer year before last. Help me with her name.
Gaither.
Thank you so much. If she really gets involved, then Lakeview has a great opportunity to win. But I'm going with the Bluff.
Yeah, I think Lakeview, if you're Lakeview, you're probably very happy that you get this game right off the bat, because what do we always talk about with Lakeview Academy competing in this tournament? They're the smallest school in the tournament, and when you have to play 3 straight days, sometimes if they make it, with that one time the girls team made it to the title game, you start to have concerns about depth because you're playing larger schools than you all week long. That's not really going to come into play here for this game because this is the first game of the tournament. Everybody's got fresh legs. It's bright and early in the morning. Everybody can have the chicken biscuit and the orange juice and be ready to go.
Tasty.
I'm going to take Cherokee Bluff, though. I like that team just a little bit better right now.
Seth?
Cherokee Bluff, the only team I've seen out of the two, and I think we were at the same game, Jeff. I was very impressed, that Cherokee Bluff team. Also, though, last year I left last season very impressed with that Lakeview team from last year.
We were at that championship game.
Yeah, we were at that game.
The GIA championship.
Mm-hmm, we were at that game. Very impressed by that. It's just like everybody else. It's a hard, torn choice for me, but I got to go with that Cherokee Bluff team as well. And I think this very well could break down to be a determining championship game.
So, Walker, you picked Lakeview, right? Okay.
I did.
All right, so Walker's all alone, all by himself. All right, let's move to the next game on the schedule. Chestatee and Flowery Branch, in a game that a lot of people around the area have actually picked Chestatee as a favorite to win this tournament. We'll go in reverse order. So, Seth, your first pick.
Give me Sutton Shirley and the Lady War Eagles.
He's not going to like that.
He's not going to like it all.
Caleb.
Chestatee had arguably their best season, boys or girls, in basketball in program history, in school history last year. The only thing they didn't do last year was win Lanir Land. I think they want this one very badly, and there have been some upsets going both ways in Chestatee Flowery Branch girls games over the years. I don't think it'll happen this time. I'm taking the Lady War Eagles.
Coach?
Too much Riley Black. She's got really good players surrounding her as well. So Chestatee advances.
Yeah, Riley Black, she's averaging like a double-double, right?
Yeah, and watching that team, as I've seen that team, they can score almost from anywhere.
Yeah. That makes it my turn?
No, it's my turn.
Your turn. Okay.
I interrupted, Bo. I'm
Coach
sorry.
told me yesterday that if I called one of his games and they lost, I was going to be banned from
Which coach?
From the gym. Coach Sutton.
Which one do you think?
So I'm actually not calling this game, so it won't be my fault if you lose, Coach. Wow.
Like they said, he's going to blame me.
However, I'm picking Chestatee to roll in this game.
Okay, see, is that worse than what I said? Is that worse? Because you said roll.
I said roll. I don't know. What did you say? I don't remember.
I just said that I was Team Sutton.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Look, this is always a great, you mentioned it, great rivalry game. And the coach interplay, I mean, that's one of the great dynamics of this matchup every single time. But I think Chestatee just right now just has too much depth. That Flowery Branch team is struggling coming into the tournament. So I'm going to have to take the Lady War Eagles on this one. Sorry, Coach.
Didn't Riley Black go for like 39 and 21 the other night?
Yes, she
yes,
did.
she did.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody on the Flowery Branch side is going to stop her in this first game. Give me Chestatee.
All right, everybody picked Chestatee in this one, correct?
Yes.
All right, so, Coach, everybody picked Chestatee in this game.
Good. That's plenty of blame to go around.
Let's move on. Walker, you'll be picking first and the next.
He's just going to chase us down when we get there. He won't have any energy to walk up and down the court because he will have chased all of us around.
East Hall and North Hall in the 3 o'clock tip-off. Walker, you
I don't get the Kirk Herbstreit treatment here since I'm calling this game. I'm kidding. Give me North Hall to win this one. I like their experience in this tournament and just the experience on the court as a whole. So I'll take the Lady Trojans.
Look, this is one of the games, Seth, me and I think, weren't you at the East Hall North Hall game?
Yep,
Look,
I think every East Hall game that you've been to, I've been to.
Yeah.
That'd be correct.
What are the odds on that?
Very good, right?
Pretty
I
high.
was about to say pretty stinking good.
Pretty high.
Pretty
Get
high.
a lottery ticket.
Look, North Hall won that game going away, but East Hall led that pretty much the entire first half. Very competitive game. The experience and depth of North Hall just warmed down. I see a similar type game. If East Hall can sustain what they did in the first half, this could be an upset special. They have talent. It's young, but I'm going to go with North Hall. I think if they're on, I'm not. This is. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lady Trojan.
Yeah, I think that key phrase piggybacking off of you is if they're on.
That's correct.
I think the key phrase there is, North Hall gets hot.
Are you next?
I am now.
Okay, go ahead.
I am now. So I'm going to go with North Hall too. Thanks for just interrupting right there.
Well,
Bo.
I mean,
I did it to you, so I guess
I
it's
was
fair.
just going. All right, so I'm not even going to talk. I'm just going to pick North Hall.
Okay.
Coach?
I think it could be a really good game. I think North Hall sustains, has more in the tank than the rest. North Hall girls advance.
Let's just be honest. We all want to see North Hall Chestatee in the Lanierland Tournament.
Oh, 100%, yes.
Let's be real about it. That's why we're all picking Chestatee and we're all picking North Hall. And
See,
we are
listen.
all picking North Hall because I'm picking them too.
Okay, there it is. There's a sweep for North Hall.
We're secretly just rubbing the hands together, just like, come on.
Okay, let's hit the nightcap for the girls bracket, and that is number 1 seed Gainesville versus the number 9 seed Johnson. Seth, you're going to start these
What are
picks.
their records?
Currently, Gainesville's 1-4, and Johnson is 3-8.
Johnson only won one game last year. They have already won 3.
Seth?
think we're seeing some improvement over there, just overall in the Johnson area over there. Unfortunately, though, I'm going to have to go Gainesville.
Yeah, I got Gainesville also.
Coach?
I think it's going to be closer than most think. I actually kind of went back and forth on this one based on a little homework there on the games both have played, but I am going to go with Gainesville.
Okay, I will go with Gainesville as well.
Yeah, it's difficult, but yeah, going to go with Gainesville in this one.
I agree with Coach Pittman. I think this is going to be closer than the experts think. I think the athleticism, though, pushes Gainesville over the top and gets the win.
Wait, who are the experts?
Not us.
Who are the experts?
The Maxwell ratings that may or may not actually be a thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if we move on to the semifinals.
Isn't it funny that you just immediately didn't think he was talking about us?
Yeah, well, you know.
It's like we say experts. Caleb's like, well, that's
shouldn't be talking
definitely
about
not
me.
us.
Yeah, it's not us. All right, the 3 o'clock semifinal game. We currently have all of us, Chestatee and North Hall, in this game. So, Walker, start the picks here. We all have Chestatee, North Hall. Go.
I'm going to take Chestatee in this one. I think that Riley Black is the difference maker in this game. The fact that Chestatee can score with anybody on the floor now that Riley's got a lot of really good pieces around her, I think North Hall can keep it close just based on their experience and what they're able to do. But I think Chestatee has just enough to be able to get past the Lady Trojans.
Coach?
No, it's you, Jeff.
Oh, me? I'm next? Okay. Yeah. Oh, we're going to it's so confusing.
Yeah. No, it's not.
No, they've already played once this year, and Chestatee took care of North Hall earlier. So I'm going to go with Chestatee and Riley Black to get into the championship game.
So Chestatee beat North Hall, as we said earlier, 58-28 earlier this season.
I don't see a 30-point game in the tournament.
I don't mean to interrupt you before you pick, but understand that score was really late in the game. It was actually 5-4 at the end of the first. Neither team shot it well, and I think it was still really close at half. But go ahead. I did not mean to interrupt.
This is where –
But you did.
And you just interrupted again. This is where Chestatee hit the bump in the road last year. Semifinals, lost in OT to Gainesville. Did they do it again this year? Lose in the semifinals? No. I'm going to pick Chestatee in this one. Coach, you're up.
So I'm going to go with Chestatee again, but depending on how everybody shoots, it could be interesting. I wish this game was played without the shot clock just to see the X's and O's and the strategy that would be there, but obviously that's not going to happen. I'm going to say Chestatee, and I'm going to say the little bull girl is the difference in the game, not Riley Black.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. All right.
Caleb?
I think the difference in this matchup would be Chestatee. I think it's just the better basketball team from top to bottom. So I have Chestatee advancing to the finals.
Agreed.
North Hall?
He's not picking his alma mater, surprisingly.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, we haven't gotten to the boys' bracket yet, Walker. There's still time.
6 p.m. game, the semifinal. Everybody except Walker picked Cherokee Bluff to make it, and everybody picked Gainesville. So we'll start with Seth on this. Seth, you picked Gainesville and Bluff. So there you go.
I'm liking that Bluff team. I really am. I'm going to go Cherokee Bluff.
Caleb?
I like Cherokee Bluff also.
Coach?
The Bluff.
The Bluff.
I will take the Bluff.
And Walker.
Yeah, I had Gainesville, Lakeview, and I'm taking the Lady Red Elephants in this one. I think that Lakeview playing at home, they're a little bit too hype. Gainesville comes in and pulls off a stunner to get to the championship game.
I would call that a stunner.
That is a stunner.
All right, so you've got Lakeview in the championship game. All right, everybody else.
I've got Gainesville in the championship game.
You've got Gainesville. My bad.
I think he's going to wish he had Lakeview in the championship.
Yeah, I think so too. But hey, we'll go with it. All right, let's move to the title game. So let's see.
What do we have as a group?
We've got Chestatee
and Bluff.
And
most of us.
By the way, just as a note, if that did play out, which we'll see, but if that did play out, that would mean that for the first time in 5 years, we would not have Gainesville or North Hall winning Lanierland because they have gone back and forth. It's gone North Hall, Gainesville for the last 4 years.
You're
And
correct.
the Bluff will be, if that happens, Bluff will be going for their first ever title, and Chestatee hasn't won it in 11 years.
Yep.
So
Okay, so everybody here except Walker has Chestatee and Bluff in the championship game. Walker has Gainesville and Chestatee in the title game. All right, so we'll start with Walker picking the champ. Go.
I think Chestatee is the team that I would pick to win if Sutton Shirley had picked better on our Picke'm show back in August. Give me Gainesville to win.
Oh, man,
That's brutal.
That is rough.
That's brutal.
But he's probably going to thank you
and
for
Sutton,
this.
you're welcome for not picking you.
You're going with Gainesville to repeat.
I'm going with Gainesville to win and repeat first back-to-back champ in,
A while.
I don't even remember the
Yeah.
last time we had a back-to-back
Wow.
on the girls' side.
Okay.
And remember, this was an overtime game last year in that matchup that you have, Walker.
Yep.
The rest of us do not have that. Okay.
Lady Red Elephants.
Okay.
And yes, Coach, I know you're shaking your head, but somebody's got to be the guy to pick different. We can't just all go chalk.
Last back-to-back champ was Flowery Branch, 2017 and 18. That was part of 4 in a row by them.
Right.
Just
It's been a while.
want to throw that out there. All right, Jeff, what you got?
Well, look, this is a fantastic matchup. Chestatee will have the single best player, I think, in Riley Black. And yes, I know I said I think. She is fantastic. We've enjoyed watching her for 4 years. But Bluff has 2 phenoms. Got Claire Carson. You have the Kirsch, the freshman. And they have a lot of other pieces around her. I mean, watching them at East Hall, they can go a lot of different options, which really opens things up for Claire Carlson and Bristol Kirsch. I'm going to take the Lady Bears to win their first ever title. I think this could be one of the best girls' finals we've had in many, many, many years. I think it's going to go down a last shot, perhaps. And they're going to play 2 more times in the region, regular season, and maybe even again in the region tournament. So this is going to be quickly a very great rivalry. Who's next?
That'd be me. And this is a tough one because I agree with everything you just said. And, it's tough to pick this game, Bluff, Chestatee, because, I don't know how the brackets are going to fall the region tournament because, it'll be in 18 different places. But I am going to stick with what I said I was going to stick with about 3 weeks ago and going to pick the Lady War Eagles to finally get over the hump and win the championship.
Okay.
Is it to me or to Coach now?
It's Coach.
Coach?
Go ahead, Caleb. I'm looking at one thing first.
Okay. Well, I will go
Quickly.
very quickly here. I think the difference in this game, Chestatee has more experience in these moments. We talked earlier, Cherokee Bluff, their best players, freshman, sophomore. I think Chestatee has more experience in these situations, these type of environments. For that reason, in that hypothetical matchup that I quietly hope we get, I take the Lady War Eagles.
All right, Coach.
Coach?
Okay, so I think it's going to be a heck of a game, first off. It's a very difficult choice. But after seeing both play, I really like the trio of Reynolds, Carlson, and Kirsch for the Bluff. Not to take anything away from, Black, Bull, and Boyd. I think both of those threesomes on the 2 teams are dynamic, but I'm just going to give a little bit of the go to the Bluff. So that's where I'm going with it.
Seth? Oh.
Go. Quickly.
What was that about?
Sorry. Go.
Okay. All right.
Quickly.
All right.
Quickly.
Who you got?
I'm so torn between this one. I don't know. I really don't know. Both teams I've seen. Both teams I'm very, very impressed with. I'm going to have to double down, though, and go with the War Eagles.
Okay.
Seth, I don't know how happy Coach Sutton Shirley's going to be.
Listen,
with you,
I already made a big comment and just blew that out of the water earlier in the show. I don't think there's any redemption, but I will go ahead and say something about this game. If this hypothetical game happens, if the situation occurs, I'm not going to say the actual words, Walker, but I think I'll have a lot more highlights from that game than other games possibly.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
What do you mean, oh boy?
All right, let's move to the boys bracket.
He didn't use the O word like Jeff.
That's
so.
what. That's
Credit
I didn't
to you,
use the
Seth.
O word.
Credit to you.
It's called alluding. I don't like how I said
All right, let's get to the boys bracket. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Who picked first on the championship? Was it you, Walker? Okay, so Seth, you'll pick first on this one. So moving to the boys' side, we'll start with the boys' opener. Flowery Branch, the 5 seed versus the 4 seed in West Hall. Both new head coaches, David Hawkins at Flowery Branch and Chuck Graham at West Hall. Both, as of this recording, only 3 wins on the season. 3-9 for Flowery Branch, 3-6 for West Hall. Seth?
Only team I've seen out of these two is West Hall. And, I mean, I was pretty impressed with them.
That was that White County game that we went to.
Yeah, that was, Why have you been at all the games that I'm going to? Why?
Hey, he's
It's a
the
great
one
combo.
Is it?
Is it?
I got the
Really?
height, and he's got whatever
That's
he's got.
right.
Inside outside game. There you go.
Yeah.
Give me West Hall. Give me West Hall.
Thunder and lightning is what we'll call you.
Jeff?
Who's the
Well, look,
rumble and who strikes?
I know, but here's the thing. He's playing guard, and I'm posting up on the inside.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how it works.
Cool.
So who'd you take,
Sure.
Seth?
I took West Hall.
Look, I think West Hall is one of those teams that's just
Actually, it's Caleb. I'm sorry.
Oh, Caleb?
Yeah,
Oh,
my
okay.
bad.
Go ahead.
Caleb.
West Hall playing at home. I think they're a little bit better team anyway, so I will take the Spartans at home.
Coach?
Can't believe I picked against my alma mater in the first round of both the boys and the girls tournament.
The trend continues.
What a guy. Hey, I think it's, well, I'll say this. I think the first day of the boys bracket in general has some really intriguing matches.
Yes, they do.
There's kind of an
100%
underlying theme there with every game. So get there early to make sure and get a seat for all you folks, because I think it'll be a great day. But speaking of the game specifically, I'm kind of with you, Caleb. I think at home, these two teams are pretty even. I think West Hall kind of has more to prove being at their place in Sparta, and I think they could pull off the win.
The Silver Dome is what they call it.
the
down there.
Silver Dome.
That's
Silver
correct.
Dome.
Did the Detroit Lions give them permission to use that?
I don't think.
Probably not, but
Okay.
the Silver Dome is dead, right?
Yeah, it is, but
In
they're just
Detroit?
checking. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
okay.
Detroit. Yeah.
Ford Field now
Yeah,
is
it's
what they
Ford
play.
Field. Yeah.
Whole different stadium, by the way.
Yeah, I agree with what all of you have said so far about West Hall playing at home. Maybe try to make a statement the first round of the tournament. Of course, Coach Graham is no stranger to winning Lanierland, so he's been there, done that. I'm going to go with the Spartans to get the win. I think it will be a close win for the Spartans, though.
I'm going to go with West Hall also. I think they have one of the up-and-coming players in the county in Troy Smith, little guard, who absolutely lit it up against White County.
Oh, yeah.
And talking to Coach Graham afterwards, really gaining a lot of confidence. They get him and they get some of the other guys going. This is going to be a really dangerous team in 7-3A by the end of the year. I'm going to take the Spartans.
I flipped a coin on this game, and I didn't like the way it turned out, so I flipped it again until I got the result I wanted. It took like 7 flips to get there.
Now,
I'm
wait.
gonna take West Hall really
Didn't
close.
Two-Face do that in Batman, except he only flipped one time?
I've taken the Spartans to win really, really close. I think the home court gets it done, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Branch have this down to a 1-possession game really late.
All right, moving to the 1:30 game, and this one has fireworks all over it, kids. Cherokee Bluff, the 3 seed versus the 6 seed in Lakeview. And Lakeview, of course, coached by Benji Wood, who's won the tournament 5 times with, 3 teams. So he knows how to win the tournament. And Bluff's still searching for that first tournament championship. And it seems like they're also searching to get past the semifinals in the last 2 or 3 years. So looking at this game, Walker, we'll let you start the picks.
I like Bluff in this one solely because of how many returning pieces they have and the continuity of the same head coach. I know Benji Wood knows how to win this tournament. He's got a lot of great pieces there at Lakeview, but I just think that Josh Travis has enough there at the Bluff to be able to outscore Lakeview in what could end up being 170, 180 combined points.
Probably. Look, I think this is one of those. Caleb is a witness. I picked a winner, and then I crossed it out. I think this is I did that with 3 games in this entire boys bracket. It's so close on some of these. I was looking at highlights of Lakeview. Whew, They got like 3 guys that dunked. I mean, they can shoot the threes. But there was something about that Bluff team that we saw at East Hall. Just really, really gritty team. And they haven't had their entire roster together this whole season. And they're going to be close when they get to Lanierland by the time the tournament starts of having everybody back. Really like that Bluff team. Based on that, I think experience, I think you're right. I'm going to go with Bluff because Lakeview still has a lot of pieces they're putting together. I'm going to go with Bluff, but this could be maybe the best game of the day.
Lakeview has played a ton of games just over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
I mean, their schedule was their first half of their schedule was backloaded, I guess you could call it.
Yes.
So they're getting a lot of reps in. And, of course, there's a lot of familiar stuff with these two teams when you've got Benji, who was at Bluff, who knows a lot of the players over there. Then you've got, some players at Lakeview that were at Bluff. So this game has got a lot riding on it for both of these two teams because it just, wants to be a statement game from both sides.
Yes.
Lakeview playing well. Bluff has had some hiccups along the way, but I think they're kind of ironing out the wrinkles. But I'm going to pick the Lions to knock off Bluff in the first round this year.
Okay, our first upset pick.
So maybe it's my turn there.
Yes, it is.
Just a quick question before I give my pick there. A minute ago, you mentioned something about they've got some guys that can dunk. Is that
Lakeview?
Does that count for more than 2 points? I didn't
Yes,
know.
Coach, it does. You get
maybe we can dunk, so we can't do anything else, but we can dunk. No,
Yeah.
I'm just teasing. That's all
Okay.
good. So in the game, I totally agree with Bo there in that the drama will be definitely large in this game. I do think Cherokee Bluff has more motivation due to the things you mentioned, probably to win this game. And I'm going to choose the Bluff because I really, after watching them play, the 2 kids that I think have improved drastically from last year, the Glover kid, I think he could be a true X factor if that's the case. And then I really like the guard, the Underwood kid.
Oh.
I think he did a really good job tonight against East Hall, hit some big free throws down the stretch. Now, at Lakeview, they've got 2 or 3 kids that are really good as well. So I think it'll be down to the wire. If the Bluff can stay, my only disclaimer, if the Bluff can stay mentally focused, which at times is interesting, I'm going to go with them.
Okay.
So you, just to be clear, you changed your mind on this one. You had Lakeview.
I did.
And then you went and changed it to Cherokee Bluff.
That's correct.
You had it right the first time.
Oh,
I got Lakeview.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I got Lakeview winning.
Hey,
this
I
one.
think this is a hard one. You're right.
it's a tough pick either way because these are 2 very good teams.
Oh yeah, 2 very good teams.
That
I think we
continue
could
to get to improve.
Oh yeah, I think we could very easily see a game much like that Cherokee Bluff East Hall game. I think we could easily see one very similar. I do think though in that game East Hall very nearly came back and beat them.
And they had a terrible second quarter.
And they did. And I think that could a situation like that could really play into this game. So I'm going to go with the Lions in this one because I think Benji Wood coming back, being back in Lanir Land, I think the Magic's going to, come back to it.
Okay.
So we're splitting this one, right?
Looks like one.
I think so.
Yeah, right down the middle. Okay, the 4:30 game, which Lakeview, our Bluff, will get the winner of. Chestatee and North Hall, the Battle of Highway 16. Of course, this game was an 80-67 winner for the Trojans earlier this season. We'll start with Seth first on this one. Have at it, Seth.
Why, thank you, Bo. Appreciate that. There's been a whole lot of stuff about me picking against my alma mater in a pretty dominant fashion.
Where'd you graduate again?
North Hall.
Okay, just making sure.
And I'm gonna pick them in this game though. I'm picking North Hall.
Okay.
I think North Hall's getting better and better as the season goes along, and for that reason, I'm going to take the Trojans in this one. I think they got a chance to make a little noise in this tournament.
Coach?
Jinx.
So I think neutral site plays into this one. Watching the first game, North Hall played really well down the stretch, and then I can see him, and I don't know why his name is totally gone right now. he had the game of a career game that night for North Hall. I hope his name comes back to me, but I think at the end of the day, the neutral site. Say it again.
Halsey.
I don't think it,
yeah, he
Matt
played
Ray,
well, but
Luke Sanders.
Ray, thank you, Ray. I think he had 33 or 35 the night they played.
Yes.
Chestatee. I think Chestatee is motivated, kind of a revenge type thing. It's on a neutral floor, so I'm going to give the game to the War Eagles, and I think Will Banks shows up and shows out.
Coach, that's a great assessment, by the way, because, I feel like Colton Wilbanks, and he has shown that he can put, 30 points on the board and can possibly dominate. And I think he could do that. I think it might end up being like a Wilbanks, Cole Halsey, Matt Ray type battle. So for that reason, I feel like Chestatee does have something to prove, and I'm going to pick the War Eagles to knock off North Hall in the first round.
Also a fine assessment of that, Bo. Colton Wilbanks is the kind of player that can carry a team all the way to the championship. The problem is they just don't have enough experienced complementary players compared to North Hall. I'm going to take the Trojans. They've already played once this year. North Hall's only won that game, so you can let Cole go for 30, but the question is who's going to come with them, and I just don't know that they have enough to offset the balance that North Hall, and with Jarvis Davenport and now head coach, and always love how he runs his offense. You mentioned it. They're getting better and better. North Hall is going to be one of those teams. I don't think you're going to want to play them late in the year. I'm going to take the Trojans.
Stole the words right out of my mouth, Jeff. I think that North Hall is just too balanced. I love the Wilbanks kid from Chestatee, and I think he has a very good opportunity to lead his team to an upset and a little bit of revenge over the Trojans. But I think that North Hall can win a defensive struggle where I'm not sure if Chestatee gets into a defensive struggle, I'm not sure who would come with Wilbanks to get those points that you need to get over the edge. So I think North Hall wins.
Yeah, fair assessments all the way around. By the way, another game with two new head coaches at the helm with Jarvis Davenport at North Hall and Alan Griffin at Chestatee. Okay, the nightcap, the one we've all been waiting on to pick here. It's the Gainesville East Hall battle. It's the most storied rival of this tournament. These two teams hold the most Lanierland titles, 25 for East Hall and 24 for Gainesville. Gainesville, as we spoke earlier in the show, coming in right now as we're recording the show, 0-9. East Hall 6-2 overall. That overtime loss to Cherokee Bluff. So we'll start. Who started the last picks? That was Seth. So Walker, we'll start with you in this game that everybody has their eyes on.
I'm glad that I have the call of the two games prior to this two set, the nightcaps. That way I could already have a seat in the building. I think it's that big of a game for Hall County in general, and it being at West Hall, it's going to be a tough ticket to get. I just really like how Joe Dix has his team playing right now. I think that it's the East Hall of old. I mean, you think back to when East Hall was running the state of Georgia and all of Northeast Georgia for a long time there under Coach Dix. This team has a lot of similarities. They put up points and they pressure you all up and down the floor. I like what he's got going there in Rabbit Town, and I think that East Hall gets the win in this big matchup to end day one.
Well, I'm going to agree with that. We talked earlier, about just Gainesville in general and the schedule. They play some ridiculously tough teams. Yeah. But new coach, whole new roster, big atmosphere. The East Hall team feels like, hey, we kind of are back. We want this matchup again. I'm going to go with East Hall, but this could be an instant classic.
Yeah, I think it could be, but, again, there are a lot of unknowns over at Gainesville, how they've started the season, who they've played, how good the opponents that they've played. But, you never can count out Gainesville when you get into this Lanierland tournament. They are young. They don't have a lot of experience returning to that roster. East Hall, on the other hand, they're young as well, but they have some varsity experience returning. Chasen Jones, Jamarcus Harrison, Chris Alford, Braden Langston, a freshman who's probably going to end up being a phenom for them. I'm going to go with the Vikings in this game. Vikings will win. It could be a close one, but I could also see East Hall winning by double digits in this one, Coach.
Well, I think everybody is I think it's everybody against Gainesville this year because they're just tired of seeing them win it. and they're tired of them coming in with a losing record and then embarrassing may be kind of a strong word, but then embarrassing the Hall County schools. So I think there's a chip on the shoulder for the Hall County. I think everybody in the building, if you get in the building, good call, Walker, on that one. If you get in the building, I think everybody's going to be cheering for Valhalla, Rabbit Town, Clinton Howard, and the Vikings. So I'm going there as well. I think East Hall, the 8 versus the 1, throw all that out. I think it's going to be a dogfight. East Hall wins.
I feel like that meme from SpongeBob.
Oh, boy. Here we go, SpongeBob.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson? How many times does Gainesville have to come in here with a losing record and come into a matchup against a team that's playing pretty good and win it before we stop being surprised by it? Mm-hmm. I'm taking Gainesville in this one. I think this Gainesville team, with the exception of Walnut Grove, will be the best team that East Hall has played this year. They'll be the most athletic team probably East Hall has played this year. And, Chasen Jones, when he's able to dominate the interior, I just don't think you can really beat East Hall at that point because then they can play inside out. Then Jamarcus Harrison can do all the things he can do. Then Chris Alford's open for 3 out in the perimeter and everything sort of works. But what happens when Chasen Jones doesn't have the athleticism matchup on the inside where he can just go get you an easy bucket when you really need one? I think Gainesville athletically and size-wise will be able to do a little bit of that. And I could see that kind of discombobulating East Hall a little bit in that game. So I'm going to take Gainesville to win.
I think you make some really good points there, Caleb. I'm not, not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. I just, at the end of the day, I looked at the records, and you do see some common opponents.
Yes, you do.
That's kind of what put me over the top. Plus, I do like the 3 pieces y'all mentioned for East Hall. The shooter, the kid inside, and then the quarterback, a.k.a. the point guard. He might be the most athletic kid on any basketball team in the county. So that put me over the top. But I think it's going to be a thriller.
Seth?
So you talk about the shooter, Coach, and Chris Alford proving that he can make those buckets in those pressure moments with hands in his face, with people all up in his grill, as they say. He can make those shots. And I think that mentally, and a lot of people probably in the crowd, in the audience, see this as whoever wins this game is kind of thinking like they have a clear path to the championship after this. I think a lot of people could see that as a mentality. But I'm going to go with East Hall after seeing that team, seeing their dynamic. I really like East Hall.
I think both teams are entering this game. I'm not saying that this is the case, but I think both teams entering this game feel like this is the title game.
That is more accurately what I was trying to say, more summed up.
But I also think, guys, that these two we're saying athletic. These two teams probably have the most athletes in the tournament. Wouldn't you say?
West Hall is very athletic.
I could see this game
as far
being
as athletic. We're talking athletic on the court. So
I could see this game being like 80-76. I could also seeing it be like 50-46. I think that the athleticism could either have an up and down game or a defensive struggle because each team's going to be able to just get all over the floor and lock people down. I think it's that close of a game. Throw the records out the window.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Wait. So that was the serious pick. Okay, now, over, under 48 seconds, the coach stays on or the coach comes off.
Oh, under.
Okay.
I lost that one the last time we did, Coach.
I'm going to tell you, my wife, when my wife went to the East Hall North Hall game, she actually put a timer on Joe Dix. 1 minute, and 19 seconds for the jacket. And actually, it was about 53 seconds before his first tap dancing outburst. So
I'm going under.
Are we talking on
East Hall.
a stopwatch, Coach, or are we talking game time? Because I think
that was my wife's stopwatch.
Game time.
Game time under.
It's going to be 10,000 degrees in the Silver
That's what
Dome.
I'm about to say. Yeah.
Does he even start the game with it on? Like, is that that's
No,
the,
he'll start.
Yeah, he's going to start with it on, but it'll come off
Always
first
starts.
possession.
You know, I'm
tip
gonna,
off happens, and he's like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay, I can get this thing off me now."
No, I
Had to
love
do
those
that.
type of games, Coach. Those are my favorite type of games to play here.
Listen, you get the best games when it's a little uncomfortable in the building.
Yeah, that's right.
Lanir Land is the only time I wear shorts in winter.
Not for me, but I will wear shorts to that tournament. Okay, let's move on to the semifinals. We'll start with that 4:30 game. So most everybody, we split on the Cherokee Bluff Lakeview game, correct?
We did.
Just have
Okay.
everybody pick
Right
based
down
on
the
what
middle.
they've got.
I think everybody just needs to tell what you picked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start. Who started the picks a while ago? Seth, Walker, you're up.
I think I started the last one, but I'll start this one too. I don't
Okay.
care.
Okay.
I had Bluff and North Hall. I think this is an interesting matchup in that both teams can score points. I just like the experience of Cherokee Bluff a little bit more in this one. They get to the championship game. Give me the Bears.
Jeff.
basically ditto. I really like this Bluff team. They have, again, like I mentioned, they have not had their full complement of their roster, and they're going to be getting very, very close to having everybody back by the time Lanir Land starts. I really like this team. I'm going to take Bluff.
I have Lakeview Chastity in this round, and I'm going to stick with Lakeview. Coach?
So I had the Bluff and Chastity. I think the Bluff has too many pieces. Too many kids have improved from last year. I think they play a up-tempo style that goes to their favor, so I'm going Bluff.
I had Lakeview and North Hall, and I like Lakeview in that matchup. I got the Lions in for the boys, their first ever finals appearance.
Oh, he's already picking. Yeah, there you go.
Seth.
I'm going to ditto everything that Caleb said.
And pick Lakeview.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I said everything, Bo.
Okay. All right. All right. Next game.
Talk about me not listening.
7:30 tip-off. East Hall. Well, we all picked East Hall, but we're going to start.
Except
with
No,
Seth.
we didn't. No, we didn't.
So,
Caleb
I'm sorry.
picked
Caleb picked game. We'll start with Seth. Go. Who you got?
I got East Hall.
East Hall over.
Oh, that's right. We all freaking split. I got East Hall, West Hall in that game,
Okay.
and I'm going East Hall.
All right.
Just for the record, I know a lot of people in East Hall that are not going to be happy with me taking Gainesville,
no,
but
of
I'm
course
willing
not.
to take the heat on that one. I got Gainesville, West Hall in the matchup, and I got Gainesville advancing through that one.
Okay. All right, Coach.
So I had East Hall and West Hall. I think after East Hall wins the Thrilla and Sparta, I think the East Hall West Hall is a little bit of a trap game for the Vikings, but I think they prevail, put themselves back into the finals. So go with East Hall.
Yeah, I have East Hall, West Hall. I could see that, Coach. The trap game. 7:30 night game. Sat there all day. I could see that as a trap game. But I think East Hall gets out of the trap game and makes it to the championship game, Jeff.
I agree totally. I think I think West Hall is going to continue to get better. Again, like this is not going to be a team you want to play in 7-3-A late in the season. But I just think East Hall has a little much. I mean, I could see West Hall's Troy Smith going off in this game. It's going to be a great guard matchup if that's the matchup. But I'm going to take East Hall. I just think they have just a little too much.
I think this really boils down to, can East Hall rebound with the stamina to be able to play West Hall, because you're going to be amped up on emotions on that Gainesville game. It's going to be an up and down game, a lot of running and coming off of the Christmas holidays. And does East Hall have enough in the tank to be able to win on the short turnaround, while West Hall, assuming they can beat Flowery Branch, they've got all day on the 27th and all day on the 28th to rest and recoup. I think East Hall does have enough depth to be able to outlast West Hall on this one, but Chuck Graham's going to have his team ready to go if that's the matchup we get in the semifinals, and it's going to be as good, if not better, of a game than the Gainesville East Hall matchup in the first round.
I can see that.
All right, guys, it's time to get to the championship. Are you ready?
Yeah. Seth, you get to start.
Do we
I
all,
get to
first
start.
off, I think
Walker does.
Do we all have different matchups in the championship?
I think it's possible.
have
Let's
East Hall
let's do
Bluff.
a quick sound off. I'll start. I have East Hall and Lakeview.
I have East Hall Lakeview.
Okay.
I have East Hall Bluff.
Okay.
I've got Gainesville, Lakeview.
Okay.
I have East Hall Bluff.
Coach?
E-Hall Bluff.
Okay, so
Okay.
3 East Hall Bluffs, 2 East Hall Lakeviews, 1 Gainesville Lakeview.
Okay, now let's do a sound off and everybody say your champ at once. Ready, go. Nobody wanted to participate. All right, we'll start with Walker. Pick your champ.
This East Hall Bluff matchup went to overtime. The only other time they've played this year, it was an instant classic. This will be an instant classic, but it'll be number 26 for East Hall. Give me the Vikings to win out of the 8 seed.
Get it, Jeff.
Look, I think I agree with you. I think it could be a great game. I'm going to point to the second quarter of that first matchup where East Hall got outscored 23-5. They fell apart. But the rest of the game, they kind of controlled the game. I'm going to go with East Hall to get the revenge in this one from the earlier matchup. Could be another just photo finish.
Look, I know that I'm going to catch a lot of crap. I've got Lakeview in the finals. I know this.
We're all catching it, though, regardless.
Yeah, I know we are.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
we are. But because I have the private going to the finals, it's going to be interesting. I know Coach Wood has probably continued preaching about winning Lakeview's first championship in Lanierland. I know what Joe's doing. Joe's over there preaching as well. You know, we're going to beat Gainesville. We're going to, win this tournament. We're going to get back to the championship. This game, I've got East Hall Lakeview. I know some of you, I have Lakeview as well. I think this game could be just as good if Bluff and East Hall played. I really do. I think we have an opportunity to have just a firework finish in this tournament. But I can't go against East Hall. East Hall. So, yeah.
Play the sounder.
Play it.
Once again, you've done this thing where I now have to search through all these sounds and find it. So maybe. Oh, wait. I actually do have it.
You have it?
Yay. It's kind of underwhelming at the moment. Yeah, we're
is.
getting
Y'all
Yeah.
made me. I think y'all made me re-record it. The first one was better. I don't know why y'all did that.
So, yep, I got East Hall winning it all.
Before Coach picks, we're all going to catch it, though, because
Oh, yeah.
5 of the 6 of us didn't pick Gainesville to win the first round.
Yeah, I know.
I
So
mean,
we're going to catch it no matter what.
That's all right.
This is fun. This is
We're
a
going to
fun-
catch it anyway.
Yeah.
but we also all pretty much stated that
I'm
that's kind of being seen as a coin flip for the actual championship.
Yeah.
That's correct.
We caught it heavy last year because we didn't pick Gainesville to win. So I can only imagine what it's going to be year 2 we've done this show, and we still didn't do it.
I had specific people that I would see at every Gainesville game that gave me crap through
we're
the
gonna
whole
get it.
season about
That's
that.
why we do it.
That's
Coach,
correct.
let's hear your pick.
So I had East Hall and the Bluff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be another really great matchup. As I spoke earlier, you've kind of got the trio at East Hall, the point guard, shooter, and the post. I like all 3 of those kids a lot. But I tell you, I like the Glover kid. I think it's a sophomore lefty.
Bears.
That's something you don't see a lot there. Hard to guard. If the Kirsch kid will be mentally tough, he might be the best basketball player on the floor, which I think will be key to the Bluff. And the Purple Wave rolling on into the championship, getting it and getting it for both. The Purple Wave for the night, the girls and the boys.
You're calling a sweep, man.
Wow.
Look at you.
Get the broom
How about
out.
that?
Oh, boy.
Get the broom out.
How
'cause
about it?
We're gonna sweep.
All right, Caleb.
So, how crazy is it that Gainesville boys have won 6 of the last 7 tournaments and only one person's going to take them in 2023?
Not at all.
That's pretty crazy, right?
No.
You know what would be even crazier? None of us picking them because I'm taking Lakeview.
Hey, here we
There
go.
it is.
I've got the Lions
Okay.
winning their first ever.
Okay.
Lanierland
Oh, that's
title.
a good one.
All right. Does that leave me?
You're all alone.
That leaves me
all by
all
yourself.
by myself. I'm taking East Hall. Give me the Vikings to win Lanir Land. I do have this might be a faux Jeff stat of the show if anybody
faux?
knows it, because it's me, it's not him. Oh, okay. That's
Is it a
faux.
Seth
Faux,
Chapman
fake.
interesting stat of the show?
Faux, fake, synonyms. Well, I want to know something. I don't have it on the tip of my tongue here.
Okay.
How many times have Joe Dix and Benji Wood, since I have Lakeview and East Hall in my championship, we have Lakeview East Hall, Bo, in our championship. How many different times have they teed off coaching teams against one another in Lakeview?
You mean in Lanir Land?
Lanir Land.
Well,
Lakeview.
Benji was at North Hall. I'm
Yep.
sure they ran into each other at least
Yeah.
once or twice.
Yeah.
Benji was at Gainesville, but you got to remember that
Joe wasn't.
Joe went to.
Joe was-
I do remember
Collins Hill.
that.
Collins Hill.
But
So-
they did match up twice in championship games when Joe was
Joe
at
was-
East Hall and Benji
Benji's
was
at
at
Gainesville.
That
That
did
is
happen
true.
twice.
Yeah, so that's kind of an ongoing thing.
Was that one of those
that's
where
kind
it
of
was
coming back?
50 points? It was a 50-point final at Gainesville that year.
I think it was something like that.
Because I remember my wife came to the game because she wanted to see the Gainesville East Hall final. She goes, "Well, this should be a good one." I was like, "This is when Gainesville had the 7 guys that would go on to play college."
Guys,
Yeah, and I said, "Well, it's probably going to be 50 points." She did not believe me. Into the first quarter, it was like an 8-point game. She goes, "See," and the final ended up being exactly 50 points. So,
Well, good job, Jeff.
yeah, I'm just saying.
thanks for that story.
Yeah.
Story time with Jeff.
Who you
Yes.
picking, Seth?
There's a new.
I already picked.
He's already
picked-
Oh, you did?
He picked
Yeah.
East Hall.
Lakeview.
You picked East Hall?
So we have East Hall, we have Bluff, and we have Lakeview being picked this year.
You know what's
That's
funny?
interesting.
You know
3
what's-
different teams.
You know what's funny is I just received a sweet little message from Sutton Shirley.
Oh.
He knew it. He knew it. He was.
See.
How sweet is it?
Yeah, it's just very sweet. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Are you going to share it?
No, I'm not.
Not going to share it. Okay. Yeah, no, you know what? Oh, the one you showed
You know.
me.
You know what I think he means by sweet.
It was
You
pre-
morons better not pick me to win
it
Lanir
was-
Land in this
It
stupid
was
show.
precious. It was Hey, everybody get with their picks because
Yeah.
you can't change it.
I will say that, like, originally, I diverted from my original course with Cherokee Bluff. I originally had Bluff and East Hall in a rematch
Hey,
for the title.
can you roll the music?
Look, I had Bluff winning it, and then I changed it to East Hall. So
Okay.
you're not the only one.
Hey, Coach, thanks, man. We appreciate you as usual. You can hear Coach on the call as we'll have all of day 1 action on 94.5 The Lake. Also streaming on AccessWDUN.com. Day 2 also on 94.5 The Lake. And then day 3, we'll have the championships on AM 550 and FM 102.3. 102.9.
103.
102.3.
Where did 3 come from?
102.9.
Wait, did
I
Jay-
have no idea.
Did Jay Jacobs buy another radio
No, he
station?
did not.
Okay, just checking.
He did
Okay.
not. So, and you can follow on AccessWDUN.com all 3 days. We'll have stories, photos, video highlights, and much, much more, whatever comes up during the tournament. Guys, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. And enjoy the
Christmas.
64th. Yes, Coach. What'd you got?
Merry Christmas. Get there early.
Get there early and come with shorts on because it's going to be hot in these
Dress
gyms.
light.
Oh, yeah.
Dress light. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and enjoy the 64th edition of the Lanierland Basketball Tournament. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.